Today we're going to take a look at factoring trinomials when a, or the a value, is the common factor between the a, the b, and the c value. So you'll recall that in standard form of the quadratic equation, we have y is equal to a times x squared plus b times x plus c. And every time that we've done factoring to this point, the a value has always had a value of positive 1. But there are situations in which the a value is not positive 1 and where it's different. So that's what we're going to explore today. So in order to do some warm-up, just to get ourselves in the right frame of reference and headspace, we're going to factor these three examples that we have here. So in this particular instance, and again all of these are in the form of y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So here on the left-hand side, we've got x squared minus 13x plus 22. So we need to create for ourselves an MA chart. And we know that the two factors of this are going to multiply to positive 22. So that's going to be looking for two numbers that multiply to positive 22. And they have to, at the same time, add to negative 13. Okay, so let's go through and take a look at all the factors of positive 22. So that would be 1 and 22. You multiply those two, you get positive 22, but when you add them together, you get 23. 2 and 11. So if I add those two things together, I get positive 13. I could flip this because I know that it's going to equal, this is positive 13 here, if I take positive 2 times positive 11. But if I multiply negative 2 and negative 11, that also gives me positive 22. And when I add those things together, it gives me negative 13. So negative 2 and negative 11 meet the criteria for this particular factored form. So I'm going to write out x minus 2 times x minus 11 is going to be my factor. So in my next example here, I've got x squared minus 32x, and at first glance it doesn't look like a trinomial, but it actually is. In fact, our c value is actually 0. So if we put in, they have to multiply to 0, and the two numbers have to add to negative 32. So because they have to multiply to 0, one of those factors has to be 0. And the other has to be 32 because 0 plus negative 32 gives you negative 32. So in this case, the factors are x minus 32 and then x plus 0. Okay. And then finally, on the end here, we have x squared minus 100. And we can write this out again as x squared plus 0x minus 100. Okay, and in this instance, this is actually pretty straightforward in the sense that we know that because our b value is equal to 0, we take the square root of the positive form of the c value, and that's going to give us 10. So this is actually x plus 10 times x minus 10. Okay, and if you want to fill out your MA chart, they have to multiply to negative 100, and they have to add to 0. So the only two numbers that do that are positive 10 and negative 10. So factored, it ends up being x plus 10, x minus 10.